All right, guys, welcome back to the worst Renegade on Marketplace.
So yeah, this thing has been a battle. So today, in this video, we are gonna be riding this quad. That is the goal.
That is absolutely the goal.
It might not run good. If it blows up and it seizes up again, we'll just cool down and we're just gonna ride it anyway.
Yeah.
Just gonna do it. So we got everything in. We unfortunately couldn't get this thing done before Busco.
No, we'll show you what the whole build was waiting on when we get into it.
Let's go ahead and let's go check it out now.
All right, guys, so as you can see here, we got a brand new case. Yeah, this was a nightmare. The case we found out had 2 different serial numbers. I think we might have covered this in one of the other videos, so I'm not going to harp on it. Got the case in, put it in, beautiful.
Crank spins now, show them.
Yeah, no, look at this. Ooh, nice and smooth.
Nice and free.
We did have an issue with this. Another issue was this PTO cover right here. As soon as we put this thing on, so the crank nice and smooth, as soon as we click this thing on before, crank completely froze up. So basically what I did is I took a drill bit, and I just by hand ream these holes out a little bit where these dowels lock it into place. Then I went through with sandpaper, sanded it down, got it to the point where she literally goes on. I'm not gonna say buttery smooth, but she goes on pretty freaking smooth. Yes. Like before you couldn't, once you got to the pins,
you had to hit it.
You had to like, really push it on. Now,
actually we had to tap it.
Yeah, so that was one of the problems, but that is now solved. Second problem we had was this. All right, so this was the reason that we couldn't go to Busco with this bike. This is basically a locating pin for your transmission, and couldn't get out of the other case. It was just shattering, so this tiny little $8 piece held up the entire build. Now we got it. So we're gonna get into a little montage of putting this thing together, hopefully getting it into the quad, and then the next time you really see us, hopefully she'll be running.
Alright guys, so engine is finally back together. Seth, how did we make out with this thing?
We had a couple little, you know, bumps in the road. We got through them though. Engine's back together, transmission's on. It's about to go back in the quad, so
for the final time.
Hopefully. Unless it gets parted out, and then it'll come out one more time as a whole. Or we
blow it up, one or the other.
So, but yeah, no, engine's back together. It's about to go in the quad. Wish us luck.
Alright, so Seth and I just worked hard for the last couple hours here. She's in. You want to do the honors this time?
Well, it didn't work so well when you did it last time.
There we go. Switch is messing up.
No, I think it's the battery.
Yeah, battery doesn't sound charged. Let me go grab the battery out of mine.
A few minutes later.
All right, round 2, different battery. Takes a second. All right, guys, so it's been about a week now, and we have the engine back in.
Sorry.
And we're outside the garage, as you can see, which is a good thing. But, Seth, what happened when we tried to fire it up once it got hot again?
So basically, we didn't show you guys what happened again. Started up, ran it, heat cycled. Marshall had to shut it off because that's just the way he is, and wouldn't start back up. It was
same exact
real tight. Same thing happened. So, kind of threw up our hands. I mean, you guys probably saw in the video that we weren't very excited with it starting. We were just like, okay, it started. We could get it to do that, no problem, but after that. So we contacted a couple different people, Mr. RPM, Blaze, going back and forth with them. Both of them actually recommended changing out the starter. So we took the one from Marshall's original 850 motor, put it in, did not work. So then we took the one that's on his current 850, which was a 650 starter, put it in, she started right up. So for the last week, we have been running her, making sure she's real hot, shutting her off, she starts back up, no problems. Last Saturday, I took it for like a 45-minute ride. You know, just trail, no mud, just running it around, putting time on the engine.
It looks like you moved.
It was water, but so just trying to put some time on it. We're just gonna, the last thing we're really gonna do is we're gonna drop the oil and make sure that there's nothing in there. We don't believe that there's gonna be anything in there, but we just wanna make sure. So for right now, we'll show you how it is as it stands.
It's not pretty.
Obviously, you know, I didn't do any powder coating. I did nothing like that. We just literally put it back together just to be able to ride it. So let's take a look at it.
Alright guys, she is alive.
She's alive. Like I said, the only thing we need to do is drop the oil, make sure there's nothing in it, and then basically put her to her first test.
Yeah. Dude, these are my tires.
They are, because you have mine
And I'm not
on the
gonna
650.
lie. I'm not gonna lie, a Renegade on Assassinators, you just cannot beat the look.
You can't. Alright guys, so this is obviously not the final. I mean, we're not gonna leave all this crap on there, these peeled off stickers. I'm not sure exactly what I'm doing with color wise. I don't know if I'm changing it. I have a very good idea of what I'm doing with it, and I also have a pretty good idea of a name for her, which I'm not going to tell you yet. But yeah, so this is just it's back together, it's running, it's working. Basically, the next time you see a video on this particular quad, you know, hopefully it might be a month or two. Hopefully it'll be the finished version of this quad. You might see this in a couple videos before then, you never know, but this is not the end video of the series. Okay, so real quick, just want to thank a couple people for helping us out with this build. We got OnKill Powersports, we got NCB Performance, Quad Logic came through real big, sent us out a whole bunch of parts. You've seen some of them on it already, but we haven't finished, you know, we got floorboard stuff like that to do. Also want to thank My Lifter Garage, Zach, dude, he hooked me up with a ton of stuff at a fraction of the price. I mean, he came
literally
through
sent
big.
half of his 850.
He really did. Really appreciate that. Novawinch. Again, Novawinch came through in a pinch and sent us out one of their Phoenix Series winches. Really appreciate that. Want to thank Mr. RPM, Steve down there. He was great. He talked us through a lot of stuff. Also want to thank Jared from Can-Am Parts Guys, because he did us a real solid. We thought it was a crank issue. Sent him an email. We were going back and forth. Before we even finished the conversation, he actually sent me out a brand new crank, which we didn't use, so I
still have it.
Probably will be sending you back that crank. But just the fact that no questions asked, no nothing, you sent me out a crank, dude, huge, huge. All right, so let's get up, drop the oil real quick, look through it, make sure there's no shiny stuff in it, and if everything's good, get it in the swamp. It's hot right now, so.
All right. What will everything say here? Ooh.
It'll say thin.
Thin?
Thin. It's like water.
Don't say that.
She's dirty, but we knew that was going to be the case.
Oh yeah. Well, we'll take a look at her and then we'll pop the filter out and see how that's looking.
All right, so we dropped the oil. There was a little bit of metal in it, which is to be expected. It's a brand new case, brand new build. You know, the whole bottom end is all brand new, so there's going to definitely be some metal in it. Doesn't look excessive. So basically, we're going to run it around, test it for the next week or two. You know, need one more part. I need the weep hole for the water pump that goes into the case. Unfortunately, I don't have one in. I don't want to put it in the mud yet until we get that thing in. Basically, that's holding it up from now going into the mud. But, so we're going to put a little more time in it, you know, 10 hours or so, drop the oil again, see what it looks like, make sure that there's no copper or anything like that, and if it's all good, then it's good to go.
So with that, make sure you guys are liking, subscribing, and commenting down below. We really appreciate the support. Stick around, because this build is just beginning now that it actually runs. So, Seth, where can I catch us on the interwebs?
All right, guys, so you can catch us on Instagram and Facebook. Send us a message. We usually try and get back to you in a timely manner. Marshall and I both work, so it's not always right away. You can catch us next time on Let Dirt Fly.
Have you forgotten where you were when I was down?